You're listening to the Ugly Truth Podcast with George and Christina Markoski, your weekly injection of science, insights, and myth-busting. For awesome info and trending content, go to theuglytruth.blog.
Hello and welcome back to The Ugly Truth.
Hi guys, welcome back.
Hello. Now today we're going to be talking about money. Actually, Bitcoin.
Coins in particular.
But we're going to be
Not
talking
chocolate. Bitcoin.
Yes, but this is our version of Bitcoin. This is a bit of a sugar-filled dessert. Okay, anyway. So, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, Bitcoin. It's been in the media everywhere lately. There's been a lot of media hype. We've had a lot of people, like the Wolf of Wall Street, for example, come out and talk about Bitcoin.
Jordan Belfort's been talking about it. Everyone's been talking about it.
Everyone and their dog thinks they know everything about Bitcoin.
I'm getting emails every day, invest in Bitcoin. I'm getting it on my Facebook feed, you know, how to invest in Bitcoin and make $1,000 a day, all this sort of stuff. All seems a bit scammy to me.
Generally, every day on Facebook, I see at least several articles pop up about Bitcoin, or friends are posting, you know, do this with Bitcoin, do that with Bitcoin. So I'm like, what is all this hype about? What is Bitcoin?
Well,
I had no idea what it even was.
So many people are saying buy and never sell, don't buy, don't sell, whatever. You know?
So many people are saying, you know, it's a scam, it's a bubble, it's this, it's that.
So let's talk about Bitcoin. Before we go into Bitcoin, let's just quickly talk about the history of money.
The history of money, okay.
Yes, because where did it all start? See, back in the day, a long time ago, there was no money.
I was going to say, well, money's not really real. It used to be bartering.
Well, that's what I was going to talk
People
about.
would trade a service.
So what would happen is you'd have a few chickens, and you'd get your chicken and find someone that wanted the chicken to swap for something else. So basically, when people were hunter-gatherers, people used to just share everything. So there was no need for money.
Especially in a small community as well.
So what would happen is, you know, if you killed something, you'd share it with everyone. And it was actually very egalitarian, altruistic society where everyone wanted to help. And basically, what was beautiful about hunter-gatherers is they didn't have many possessions because you had to carry stuff around. So they were happy to share the possessions with everyone else in the tribe. It was like an extended family. So it's very rare for people to fight over possessions or goods or anything else like that, which would have been quite liberating for them.
Would have been a good sense of community.
Or kinship and community, absolutely.
Feel quite safe, yeah.
Totally, absolutely. And then we had the agricultural revolution. Once we had the agricultural revolution, something amazing happened. We had divided labour. Because if you got a group of people that are hunter-gatherers, they all got to hunt-gather. But once you got farms and you got a settlement and you're producing excess food and you're not moving around,
you can leverage your time more as well. So it's time consuming.
That's right. But also you can have people doing other things instead of just produce food. So that's when people, I guess, sort of like chiefs and royalty became big, and army and people.
Was that pretty much the birth of capitalism?
The agricultural revolution was sort of like a proto-birth of capitalism, totally. So what happened then is that's when bartering really came important, because people started to specialise. So a lot of people thought, I think that was probably a bad move, the agricultural revolution. However, we wouldn't have civilization as we know it without it. So the beautiful part about, I suppose, what happened was people started dividing their labour so we could specialise, and people had more time to think and invent and create things, which is a beautiful thing, because progress is very slow until the agricultural revolution. Then it started getting bigger. However, there was this challenge of, if you're a farmer, how do you get, if you've got wheat, how do you swap that wheat for chickens and other things like that?
Yeah. Because it's not always going to be equal.
That's right. And the problem is, I suppose, if you had something that was really popular, it'd be great. Someone making fish hooks, right? Could swap a fish hook for some stuff. But what if the person that's got chicken already had fish hooks and you got fish hooks? You're going to have to find something that person wants. And it's going to take a long time. So what happened is people take longer and longer to try to find to barter things. Right? They didn't have the Trading Post or Gumtree or
they had
eBay.
No advertising, yeah.
So I guess what happened then is that's when currency came into play. And a lot of the early currencies, they had cowrie shells, they had cows, metal. Metal was very popular for currency. Especially bits of gold and bits of silver and stuff like that. because it was durable. Even salt. Salt was actually, you heard that saying, worth his weight in salt. Well, salt was actually very popular as a barter item to swap things for. And people used to get paid in salt. So you went to the army, you got paid in salt.
Because it was a very valuable commodity.
Yeah, totally. And I suppose then currencies came in play, and they started minting coins. And people would put their face on it as the king to say, yes, this is official. So
also good marketing for the king and queen.
Great marketing.
You see their face everywhere.
Absolutely, that's right. So that's when currencies came into play. That was probably about 400 BC. They started doing that. So with the gold, I suppose what happened was it's a valuable thing, so it's worth something. So it's good for currency.
Is that why they chose gold specifically originally?
Because it was very...
And because it's limited as well.
Limited, exactly. That's why gold and silver have been very popular, and bronze as well. But bronze is not so popular because it's more common. So then suddenly, some guy had a great idea, and I think this happened in China first, where they decided to create paper money.
To stop banging the couch.
So they decided to make paper money. Right?
Bit of a noise buffer.
Now, paper money is a big jump forward. Because what happened to have is with paper money, the government or the king, usually it was the king in those days, would say this is worth a certain amount. And it's a piece of paper, but it's a promissory note.
And then put a number on it and say how much it was worth.
That's right. So a lot of people saying that Bitcoin's a bubble. I mean, is money a bubble?
Okay, let's think about it. Who is saying that Bitcoin's a bubble?
Okay, well...
The banks, for one.
Well, exactly. The
propaganda by the banks.
Yep. Well,
a lot of media outlets and articles.
Yes, but if you look at historically, I mean, there's been a lot of bubbles in the past.
Well, there's been a lot of theories that things are bubbles when they aren't at all.
Usually, if you look at the graph of Bitcoin, right, how it's gone up and spiked, it's very, very similar to the graphs of the tulip bubble. So what happened was, if you know much about the tulip bubble?
Yeah.
So back in the 1600s, tulips were a beautiful flower that were very rare. So the Dutch, they were quite the wealthiest in Europe. They started producing tulips, and they became popular. And what happened was there was a tulip craze because everyone wanted tulips, and there was tulip growers growing all these tulips, and there was a certain virus that affected certain tulips to make them special. So these special tulips were worth a lot of money.
It made them look better or different?
They looked better and different, yes.
Okay.
And up to the point where one bulb was sold for 12 acres of land.
Wow.
Right? So there was 40 bulbs that were sold for 100,000 florins, which is equivalent to, a normal worker used to get paid 150 florins a year, and they sold 40 bulbs for 100,000.
So what started the craze? Because obviously it got to that because people believed in it.
Yes, people believed in it, but they were selling it for more money. So what would happen is if you had tulip bulbs, you'd sell them, and if you wanted to buy them next year, it cost you more. And because it kept going up in price, everyone thought they were going to be worth more money. So first the tulip farmers had them, but then ordinary people were buying them.
Right.
And it just kept going up and up, and they thought it'd never stop. They thought it was going to go on forever. And some people were saying it's a bubble, and then suddenly, one day, people decided not to believe it anymore.
Everyone just stopped believing in it.
And then suddenly it crashed. It went down. Like you see the graph. We'll show it in the show notes. It just went bang, straight down.
Yeah.
Then we had the dot-com bubble. Back in 97, .com, everything that had .com was worth a lot of money, and everyone was investing in it. And even though there wasn't any money getting made out of them, they were losing money. People were investing money. And then back in 2001, it crashed. It went down.
I'm not really familiar with the .com bubble.
The .com bubble was big, so everyone was investing in websites.
So everyone was buying domains that ended in .com. Is that basically what it is?
There was businesses that were .com businesses, and everyone was investing in .com businesses. A lot of them just crashed and burnt and disappeared.
So they were just online businesses?
Yeah. That's the .com bubble, yes. Because everyone was crazy about .com.
So they just went and started an online business, but then didn't do any work in the business?
No. There were big businesses, but they didn't have the fundamentals as in the normal stock market.
Right.
Yeah. And there was winners and losers. Some of them still here today. Like Amazon. That was losing money for years and years and years. Every year. But now it's making lots of money. So And now the latest trend is cryptocurrencies.
Yes, there's been a lot of cryptocurrencies. When I first found out about it and heard about the concept, I thought, what a great idea, because it's a way that you can have your money and not give it to the banks and pay a monthly fee. And the thing that I don't like about banks is you give them your money and then they charge you for you giving them your money.
You earn,
doesn't make sense.
If you put money in the bank, you actually earn interest. They don't charge you.
Bank fees?
Yes, but
it's
normally a positive return, even though it's only 1 or 2%.
It's minuscule, though. It's pathetic.
At the moment, it's minuscule because...
It used to be better in the early 2000s.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I remember it was.
No, it looked better. Okay, so let me explain. So what happens is...
I could get a 5% return.
Back in the 90s, you could have got a 16% return.
But then you're paying higher interest for property as well, right?
Yeah, so what happens is what you get in the bank, right? The interest that you get in the bank account is all determined by the Reserve Bank. And the Reserve Bank determines the interest rate on the inflation rate. So if you're earning 16% in your bank account, it's not real, because usually it's only 1% over what the inflation is. You're only earning 1%. And if you're earning 2%, you're only earning 1%, but it's the same. So I know it sounds like it's different, but it's the same amount that you're earning.
So it doesn't matter what percent they say you're earning?
No, it depends on the inflation and is it going up or down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what matters. So the banks aren't stupid. They're not going to give you 16% return on your money.
Well, personally, I don't think it's doing anything.
Well, really, you're making maybe 1% or 0.5% over inflation.
Yeah, so what's the point?
Which is not much at all.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
However, you're not losing...
Compared to like putting it in a cryptocurrency,
you're not earning any interest.
That you see
in a cryptocurrency,
you're much better.
Well, in a cryptocurrency, you're not earning any interest at all. They don't give you interest at all, zero interest. Right?
But you're not paying monthly bank account fees either.
No, but you have to pay to get in and get out.
Mm-hmm.
But also, with cryptocurrencies, it's quite volatile. So if you put 100 grand in, that could end up being 200 or 50,000, you don't know.
Mm.
So the volatility there, it's not really a safe place to put your money. Like in a bank, if you put 100 grand in, it's still going to be 100 grand in 12 months' time. However, because of inflation, it's actually shrunk, and people don't realise that. So
what do you do? So you can't win if you put it in cryptocurrency, and you can't win if you put it in the bank.
Well,
what are our options?
Let's explore this a little bit further.
Because you're saying both options are bad.
No. I'm saying they're different. They're different. So
but they both could get you a bad result.
Well, putting money in no one's going to be rich out of putting their money in the bank. That's the fact of it. Okay, it's totally safe. So if you look at something that's really safe on this end, and then something really risky on that end, where are you going to make a bigger return?
Or the higher the risk, but the higher you've also got of losing everything.
Yes, so it's a matter of finding your risk profile and finding out where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at stockmarket.com, cryptocurrencies, anything you can think of that you can invest money in, it's all a big bubble.
Okay.
Okay.
Explain. How is it all a big bubble? Like suddenly someone's going to come along with a big pin and it's all just going to burst?
Let me just get this graph out here, right, and put money in perspective. So all the money in the world is about $83 trillion, right? That's huge. Now, Bitcoin is 41 billion. So it's tiny. It's a tiny little market, right? But the cryptocurrency are unregulated at the moment. That's one thing, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but I'm going to talk about size. See, gold is 200 times bigger than Bitcoin at the moment.
But gold's been going down for the past 10 years.
It's been going up and down, but recently it's been going down. Recently has gone down, but not for the last 10 years. It actually went up quite a bit. About 8 years ago, I think it was.
Okay, but so it's been going down for the past 8 years.
I don't know exactly. I haven't looked it up, but I know recently it has gone down compared to Bitcoin. Yes, so it's interesting that Bitcoin's going up and gold's going down at the same time.
Even compared to money in the bank, gold's been going down.
Yes, so I mean, you look at Bill Gates. He's got more money than all of Bitcoin combined on his own. Isn't that amazing? Double the amount of money.
Well, because Bitcoin's relatively new, that doesn't really surprise me.
Bitcoin's very small. I mean, Apple's 730 billion. So it's like...
And when I say it's relatively new, it's obviously not. It's been around for ages, but it's only tapped into the mainstream quite
it's
recently.
only now. I mean, I think most people still don't know what Bitcoin is. So...
Oh, I agree.
I think that Bitcoin's still got a long way to go.
I still don't even really know what it is. I know, like, it's a cryptocurrency. I know, like, you can make money in it. You can lose money in it. You can use it to buy things.
It's a blockchain. So we spoke about blockchain at a previous episode, but I'm going to quickly go into it. So the reason Bitcoin is so popular is, there's two reasons, but let's talk about the first reason. The first reason it's so popular is because it's unregulated, and it's you can use Bitcoin without going to traditional banks.
Could you get a loan on Bitcoin?
No. Not at the moment. See, interesting. If you look at Julian Assange, what happened was America decided to freeze a lot of his accounts. So he had to get paid in Bitcoin. And because of that, he's now multi-billionaire. He's loaded.
Because Bitcoin's gone up. So
yes, absolutely. So he started getting paid in Bitcoin because he started using that. So a lot of people equate Bitcoin with the underground market and things like that. But there's a lot of legitimate use to Bitcoin. A lot of people are getting into it. Now, usually it was all just the nerds using Bitcoin. But
and weren't they mining it as well?
Yes. So Bitcoin mining is where you can get your computer to find prime numbers through a special program to create more Bitcoin. But it's getting harder and harder. Now, at the moment, there's so much mining going on, especially in China, that all of Bitcoin mining combined is taking up more electricity than Ireland uses per year.
Wow.
So Bitcoin uses more than a whole country in electricity, which is sort of bad because it's creating a lot of carbon emissions and everything else like that, and pollution for something that's not even real.
That's crazy. Because,
I mean, let's face it, paper money is we only believe in paper money because we believe in it. But if we stop believing in it, then it's going to drop.
It'll be worthless. It'll just be paper again.
Yeah, because you look at Zimbabwe, they've got $100 billion notes, which are worth hardly anything, right? Because people don't believe in their money.
Yeah.
But you look at the American dollar and Australian dollar, there's a lot more solid belief in them because the governments are stronger. But let's face it.
And our economy as well.
But yes, but let's face it, I mean, the Americans, they're printing money like crazy and just pushing it out throughout the world. You know what I mean? So a lot of people say that money is a big bubble, right?
Interesting.
But we all believe in it, so it's still going to be there.
Yeah.
So I guess part of why Bitcoin is big is because people believe in it. And the other reason people are getting involved now is not because it's just anonymous and because it's an alternative currency that you can use around the world, but they're doing it because they want to make money. And that's what changed the game recently. So
that's why I went into Bitcoin to make money.
That's right. So that's changed the game significantly because there's mums and dads out there, normal people, going into Bitcoin and just buying it to make money. Now, it's not easy to get Bitcoin.
No, you've got to jump a lot of hoops.
If you want to get Bitcoin, what you got to do is set up an account with an exchange, make sure the exchange is safe. You've got to create a wallet or somewhere to store your cryptocurrency.
So a wallet is like an app and you just download it on your phone, basically.
Yeah, or it doesn't have to be an app. You can actually go online, or you can store it on your hard drive, or there's actually a really interesting one where you can actually get your Bitcoin and print it out and have it on paper, so it's really safe, so no one hack it.
Interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't feel safe having something physical. I'd feel more safe having something in my phone.
Yeah, but there has been some exchanges that have been hacked. So what a lot of people are saying is you've got to be very careful because you can get hacked. A lot of exchanges do get hacked. Right. So normally what you do is you go to the exchange, get your Bitcoin and take it out and put it into a wallet. But hopefully that wallet's safe too. Or you can print it out and put it in a safe. And that way your Bitcoin's on a piece of paper, there's a number there.
Something physical, yeah.
Because each Bitcoin's a sort of, you're not even buying a whole Bitcoin, you buy part of a Bitcoin.
So let's go back to when you say you can't even buy a whole Bitcoin. How much is an actual whole Bitcoin and why is it whole? How does that work?
Okay, a Bitcoin's made out of parts. So there's lots of little parts in a Bitcoin.
So you're buying a percentage when you buy Bitcoin?
You can buy a whole one or you can buy a percentage.
How much is one Bitcoin worth today?
Okay, I think today it's worth just under $10,000 US.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
I think it was more like 20,000.
Let's have a look. How much is
if I recall correctly.
Bitcoin? Well, look, Google's going to tell us. I think the Bitcoin chart, let's have a look.
Because it fluctuates, obviously, every sort of day. It goes up, down, slightly.
All the time, every minute.
Yeah.
Bitcoin price, $17,898. There you go.
Okay, cool. So it's, because I remember looking a couple of days ago and it was almost around
Right, so the market cap
for one
is
Bitcoin.
299 billion. So that chart's out of date, the one I was talking about. It's worth nearly $300 billion. Wow, huge.
Wow.
So what's happening is Bitcoin's becoming quite popular now, but there's still barriers to entry, and because of that, I think it hasn't really hit mainstream
Hang on a
just
second.
yet.
I disagree. What barriers to entry? Okay, it is hard to get, yes, but once you know how to do that, all you've got to do is get a wallet, find an exchange like bitcoin.com, go to the bank, take your money out, make a phone call, put it in.
Yes, but that's still a barrier. So because of that, people haven't jumped on board yet. I know lots of people that want to invest, they haven't got around to it because it's too hard.
It's too complicated.
That's right. So even people that are quite smart, a friend of mine in Sydney, he still hasn't invested, but he's done all the work because you got to get verified.
If I can do it, anyone can, seriously.
No, but there is barriers to entry.
Yeah.
And I helped you.
Exactly, you did.
Right? And so people are asking, should we invest in Bitcoin? Shouldn't we? Okay, that's really the question, and we're going to answer that during this podcast.
Should you or shouldn't you invest in Bitcoin?
Yes and no. Mm-hmm. There you go. So I want to talk a bit more. Bitcoin is not regulated, and there's a very small group of people that own quite a big percentage of Bitcoin, and because of that, it can be quite dangerous because these people could pump and dump. Mm-hmm. Which is they can wait till it goes really high and then just dump everything, which is going to drop the price right down. Now, a lot of Bitcoin experts are saying it could go up to $100,000 or even $1 million per Bitcoin.
Wow.
And that is quite possible. Is it a bubble? Maybe. Is it safe? Probably not. Right? I personally, I think that if people stop believing in Bitcoin, it can go down to zero.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Why are so many people making money from it?
Because it keeps going up.
So it must be real then.
It is real at the moment, but if people stop believing in Bitcoin or stop believing in stocks or stop believing in money, it's going to end up being zero. I mean, everything's really a bubble except for property. Because property, even if you don't believe in it, you still have to live in it.
Yeah.
And that's why I love property
it's
investing.
Physically real. Right? You need somewhere physically to live.
So I think the fundamentals are you need to invest in your education and having a modern financial education and into property. That's really the basics of being really safe. Now, I think Bitcoin, I wouldn't put more than 1% of my money in Bitcoin. But I think it's worth putting 0.5% to 1% of your money.
Yeah, I agree, because it is speculative, right? And it is like, it's a roller coaster. Like every day, if you watch how much it goes up and down, like one day you'll be up by like 40%, the next day it'll be down by 20% again. Like how much it shifts in the market just over 24 hours is pretty crazy. And to the average person, they would look at that and freak out and want to get out of Bitcoin. But for, I guess, people who are more educated investors, they look at that and go, okay, well, it's just the market. That's how it is. It's volatile. It's going to keep going up and down. But the overall trend, since I personally have invested, has been going up.
Your money's doubled.
Yeah, my money has doubled, more than doubled, in just over 5 weeks. So although actually when I did first invest, I lost 20%. And
that was hilarious, wasn't it?
I know. Well, and I wasn't even upset. I was a little bit sad, don't get me wrong. You know, I just put money into Bitcoin, and to see it drop by 20%, most people would cry or freak out or want to get out altogether. And I just said, look, it's just going through a downswing. That's just investing. You know, you've got to go through the downswing you've got to hang on in the downswing, and then you ride that through, and then it goes and picks up again. And it's just a cycle. It'll keep happening. But you've got to look at the overall trend, and you've got to think, you know, bigger picture, long term. So this is what I personally am doing with my money in Bitcoin. I put 1% of my money in Bitcoin because I said to myself, hey, if I lose it all, it doesn't really matter. Is it going to make a difference to my life if that money disappears? No. But it was sitting in the bank anyway, doing nothing. So I thought, Bitcoin looks like it's been going pretty good lately. I'm going to just take the plunge and put that 1% of my money in it. So then obviously I did lose money when I first started, but it only took a week or so, and then it went up again 20%, so then I'd broken even. and then I just watched it slowly go up and then go down, go up, go down. But the overall trend, it was going up consistently. So
I think now that I've opened the futures market in Bitcoin, that's going to give it more legitimacy. However, if you look back at the tulip bubble, after they opened the futures market for tulips, that's where it really went up crazy and then crashed.
And then dropped, all right.
So I think with the futures market now, we're going to have a lot of momentum and then we may have a bit of a crash.
Because when you come to investing, it's all about timing, and you've got to get into the right thing at the right time in the market.
Yes. So there's other currencies, not just Bitcoin. That's the thing. And we don't know which one's going to be the winner because there's a lot of horses running this race. Blockchain is definitely going to be part of the future. And I think cryptocurrencies are going to be a big part of the legitimate future. That's the fact of it.
Yeah, I agree.
But will it be Bitcoin? Maybe, maybe not. So there's about 10 currencies that are up there, the top 10 currencies. And I think spreading the risk is better.
Well, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum seems to be the top two that I would be betting on personally.
Yeah, and Ethereum, their algorithm for Ethereum and everything else, the way it works better than Bitcoin.
See, I hear that a lot. However, you don't hear anything about Ethereum in the media. You only hear about Bitcoin.
Look, I think once it becomes more mainstream, it's going to get bigger. So I've put money in Ethereum as well. I've actually spread it through a few different currencies, and they've all gone up, every single one of them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
I'm going to put in 1%. I haven't yet. I'm putting it in a regular. Because what happens is you've got the ups and downs. Mm-hmm. If you put money in a regular basis, it smooths it out and smooths out the ups and downs. So I'm putting money in every week, just a bit here and there, just to keep it regular. And
aren't you concerned about the fee that you have to pay every time you put money in? Like every time the exchange is taking a cut?
Yes, but it depends on the percentage of money, so it doesn't matter. So you put 10,000 in once or 1,000 10 times, same fee.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes.
Right, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So I think putting in, like we said, about 1% is fine. And I think that's it. That's
I've got a different strategy to George, because obviously I'm what you would refer to as a lazy investor. Like, I don't have time to manage, putting in Bitcoin, picking when it's going to go down and up and all of that. I just buy and hold. So I've just put my 1% in and I'm just going to let it grow. And I'm going to take out, this is my plan, when I more than triple my money, I'm going to take out probably 10% and then reinvest that into property and then just let the rest keep growing. But my overarching goal is to make good money in Bitcoin and then reinvest that into property where it's more stable.
The fact of it is, there's a lot more money to be made in property, and I've made a lot more money out of property in Bitcoin because you can leverage your money and the fundamentals are there, and obviously that's going to be a different podcast. So I love to talk about property investing, as I always like talking about. It's one of my favourite subjects. But I think with the Bitcoin, that's what we do. Invest up to 1%, be ready to lose it. As you make some money, it's a bonus.
That's a bonus plan, exactly.
And
that's always what I say.
I think that's at the end of the day what it is. Is it a bubble? Maybe, maybe not. I think sooner or later, cryptocurrencies will be legitimate. We don't know which one, so I think you need to spread it. And if you're going to keep your money in exchange, spread it between 5 different exchanges. So therefore, if one gets hacked, you only lose 20% of your money. So with all these different strategies, going to mitigate your risk. That's all.
That sounds like a lot of hard work.
If you want to mitigate your risk, it's worth it.
If you're putting 1% of your money in anyway, it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
It depends how much 1% is. It might be a lot of money for some people.
This is true.
Yes. But if it's 1%, it's still not a lot of money because it's only 1%.
So a lot of people are, I see things on Facebook every day like, oh, I'm making so much money out of Bitcoin. You should join this and do this. I honestly think there's a lot of Ponzi schemes surrounding Bitcoin.
There's these Bitcoin factories where they're mining and you put money in.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on how those work, and are they real? Can you really, double your money overnight? It sounds too good to be true to me personally. Okay, it just sounds a bit scammy.
Well, the golden rule of investing is if it's too good to be true,
if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true.
And I don't believe in doubling your money overnight.
Because you can also lose your money overnight as well.
Whenever there's golden egg system, double your money overnight with no work and no investment.
So what's all these people on Facebook going, join this, I made this much in this amount of time?
Basically, they're Bitcoin factories where you invest.
Is it like a pyramid
and they
scheme?
pay you. It's a bit. I think it's a bit like that. I don't know much about it, but I've stayed away because it sounds too good to be true. And then you make 1% per day.
And don't they have to like recruit people under them to keep it going?
You get money out of people that you recruit. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're making money for people you recruit and then they make money off them.
So it sounds like Amway to me, where you're not going to make money unless the people underneath you are recruiting more people, and then they've got to recruit more people. But it dries up because there's only so many people.
Well, yes. So personally, I don't like pyramid schemes. I've never been a big fan of it. So I wouldn't do that. I think if you can invest in Bitcoin, just invest directly.
Just do it, exactly.
Just do it directly in Bitcoin, and that's it.
Yeah, like
it's
I've
safer.
done.
These Ponzi schemes, people
Stay
get
away
in,
from them. I wouldn't touch them with a 10 foot.
Sooner or later, they're going to crash. That's
exactly.
the fact.
I think that's what the bubble is referring to, perhaps, maybe.
Look, there's so much buzz going on. When there's a lot of buzz going on, that means something. Like, it's pretty crazy. So you never know what's going to happen. And it wouldn't surprise me if it crashes.
Right.
Big time.
Interesting.
Wouldn't surprise me if it goes up to 100,000. Because if you look at how it goes up and down, nothing really surprised me. But we'll see. Only time will tell.
So I've personally used it to invest, and you have too. Can you actually use it as a currency and buy things on it or sell things on it?
Look, it's becoming more popular.
And how do you do that?
You've got to find someone that's willing to accept Bitcoin.
Okay, that's the challenge.
Right? So I've never done a Bitcoin transaction, but I think I'm about to do one next week.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Can you tell us more, or is it sort of a bit hush-hush between you and the person? Or
what I'm going to do is I'm going to start accepting Bitcoin in our business.
Okay.
In the property business, because we run a property business, property education business, and we're going to accept Bitcoin. But also, I know a guy that's selling his house on Bitcoin, and I'm open-minded to doing something like that.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So I think the more people that accept Bitcoin, the bigger it's going to become. At the moment,
Absolutely.
No one really accepts it. You can't really use it at the moment.
And a lot of people are scared of it.
Well, the challenge is it's a bit difficult because you don't know what it's worth. You know what I mean? Because you sort of got to calculate.
Well, the market determines what it's worth every day, right?
Yes, but what I'm saying is it's a bit hard. Like, let's say I'm buying something $100. I know exactly what I'm paying for it.
Yep.
But if I'm buying it for 0.0005% of a Bitcoin, what the hell does that mean?
It's kind of confusing.
It's just a long number.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. So there's got to be a way of being able to calculate it in real money, but it's going to change.
Oh, like you can, convert the euro to how many Australian dollars or whatever.
Yes, and you can do that with Bitcoin, but it's so volatile that it changes from minute to minute.
Yeah, I know.
So if you're buying something for $100, if you wait 5 minutes, you could buy it for $200 or buy it for $50.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the weird part about it, where if you're buying for dollars, it's the same price no matter what.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you just got to get your timing right if you buy something when your money's gone up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing a few Bitcoin transactions just for a bit of an experiment and try it out.
Sounds good.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent. Well, this is a nice quick one today.
Oh, I've still got more.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Okay, so Bitcoin, how safe is it as an investment? We've touched on this before, and you reckon 1% of your money.
That's right, 1% of your money.
And
it could go up to 100,000.
Yeah.
So it could, so I think definitely 1% of your money, no more.
So how did you get started with investing in Bitcoin? What were the first steps that you actually took to make this a reality?
I posted on Facebook and spoke to a few friends that were investing and got their advice.
Okay.
So I think it's good to get advice from someone that's already done it.
I agree, yeah.
When it
comes to investing in anything.
When it comes to investing in anything, get a mentor that's actually got the results that you want.
Absolutely.
That's what you need to do.
And I've actually had a lot of friends and family call me recently because I posted on Facebook about my success in Bitcoin. A lot of people have been calling me saying, oh my God, I want to do this now. It sounds awesome. And I've said the same thing to all of them. It's very volatile, and make sure you're only putting 1% of your money in, because if you lose that, then, it's not going to matter. But
exactly.
if you make, I went into it thinking if I can make 10% on my money per year, I'll be happy with that. That's a good result.
You've made 100%.
Because that's what property does. But I've made 100%, which has been amazing. Do I expect it to go down again? Absolutely. But then do I expect it to go up in the long term? Yes.
If you look at the long-term trend, it goes up and down but keeps rising upwards.
That's right.
And, I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So, any other questions?
pretty much it. So overall, Bitcoin, I think it's a great idea, and I think it's got a lot of legs.
It could be very exciting for a lot of people, and it's better than gambling. Slightly.
Which, if you said to me, would you rather put your money in the casino or Bitcoin? I'd say Bitcoin.
Remember Melbourne Cup, because here in Australia we've got this day of the races, Melbourne Cup horse race, and everyone puts money down. And remember, what did I say to you? Instead of putting
No. This was actually the AFL Grand Final.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so there were two teams playing, and I think, who was it? I don't even know.
Crows
like
and
the Adelaide
else.
Crows and someone else.
Everyone thought Adelaide Crows
and
would
everyone
win.
was like so like fixated on, yes, the Crows are going to win. The odds were so stacked in their favour.
And you were going to do that.
And I thought it was a no-brainer for sure. Like, I don't follow AFL at all, but I was like, you know what, if anyone's going to win this grand final, it's probably going to be the Crows.
And what did I tell you?
So I was like, all right, I'm going to bet a substantial amount of money on them, because it would be an easy way to obviously double my money, but it would also be a very easy way to lose that money. And George did say to me, don't gamble on the grand final. You're better off putting it in Bitcoin. And I actually tried to bet on the grand final, but because it was too difficult, there were too many hoops to jump, and I had to sign up to all these things. I was like, oh, stuff it, this is too hard. So I didn't put any money in there, but if I did, I would have lost it.
Exactly.
And I don't bet on anything ever in my life.
Like,
I've never actually gambled. I bet like $10 a year on the Melbourne Cup. And I usually always win that as well.
Yep.
But luckily, obviously, there are a lot of things stopping me from gambling on the AFL that day.
Which is good.
But I put the 1% of my money into Bitcoin, and so far it's been doing amazing.
So it's better than horse races and better than betting on sports.
Better than betting on the football.
There you go. Okay, well, we're off. We're going to go.
That was awesome.
I'm going to go invest some money in Bitcoin. I'm going to go. See you later, guys.
Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll catch you later. I'm just going to sing us out on a little song, a song about money.
Here we go. I'll do this while you do that.
No, don't do that. That's going to distract me. Money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world. Ooh. All the things I could buy if I had a little money in a rich man's world. Thank you. It's just a little short one. See you next week.
For everyone listening, thank you once again. Stay well and see you next episode.
For awesome info and trending content, go to theuglytruth.blog.